One day while me and the boys were in Discord call, one of them sent this video of a game that had just come out called Cyberpunk 2077. The game was still new and was full of bugs, and the video was an example of how broken it was. For context, here's the video. After we had all joked around about how broken it was, someone had suddenly asked, if the apple never fell on Newton's head, how would gravity be like in video games? Of course, we all said the obvious answer that everything would float around, infinitely. But then something clicked in my head. Without physics in general, video games would be nothing like we know them today. Me being the only one who hadn't done this physics project yet, thought that this would be a perfect topic to go for. Now if you've ever played a video game, which I hope you have, or else what the hell have you been doing with your life, you would know that a lot of video games try to mimic some basic laws of physics to some extent. The truth is that video game physics don't follow the equations we know, but try to be as close as possible with some inaccuracy involved. This all highly depends on the video game itself, of course. So let's start with the law that gave me the idea in the first place. Gravity. Like in real life, gravity plays a huge role in video games. It's what keeps everything in the video game from infinitely floating around. But unlike in real life, the gravitational constant isn't negative 9.81 meters per second squared. In fact, it has no specific number, but it does function in the same way real-life gravity does. For example, when Mario jumps, gravity pulls him back down. Now, if you were to jump from a high place in real life, you would get an injury ranging from a broken leg to probably death. This comes from freefall. Gravity pulls you down and the impact of the fall causes your injury. The same is in video games. Fall damage, as it's called, is a very prominent video game feature in which when a character falls from a very high place, they take damage depending on how high their jump was from. And like in real life, the injury could vary from a bit of fall damage to death. There are some things that allow us as humans to defy the pull of gravity, such as grappling hooks, planes, and indoor skydiving. Some video games allow you to do the same. Take Spider-Man for example. As he swings around New York City, the force from his webs pulls him up. The force from gravity pulls him down. He shoots another web and gets pulled up again. It's a constant battle between the two forces. Or, if you want to defy gravity in another way, you could just get voted off in Among Us and float through space. Two other laws of physics that video games try to imitate are velocity and acceleration. When you run or drive in real life, you have a speed in a certain direction. But if your speed increases or decreases, then you're accelerating or decelerating. The same is in video games. When Sonic runs, he has a constant velocity, but if he runs over a boost, he speeds up and starts accelerating. The same is in any racing game. You're constantly accelerating to try and finish in first place, but if you hit anything and crash, or you get hit by a blue shell, you either decelerate or your velocity instantly goes down to zero. This brings me into the next law. Momentum! When a car is moving at a high velocity, it takes an immense amount of force to stop it in its tracks, like say a building or another car. Now, if you're running after a football, it takes less force to stop it than it would the car. That's because the car has a higher momentum than the ball. In video games, developers try to imitate this momentum as much as possible. In racing games, the only way to instantly stop a car is to crash into another car or into a strong inanimate object, like a building. In sports games like FIFA and the NBA 2K series, a ball has much less momentum than a car in Forza Horizon, and takes much less force from the players to stop it. The final law on my list is projectile motion. Projectile motion is the motion of an object when it is thrown or launched in any way or form near the surface of the Earth. With projectile motion dominating the movement of many things in our daily lives, it is pretty much implemented in most modern day video games. Whether you're jumping from building to building in Assassin's Creed, or shooting an arrow or throwing an item in Minecraft, getting sniper kills in Call of Duty, or kicking or heading a ball in FIFA, you're doing things that involve projectile motion. While there are other laws of physics in video games, these are the most prominent ones. Also, I've been saying the words imitate and mimic a lot in this video, because if actual physics were implemented in video games, no computer or console or phone would be able to run them. The processing power needed to actually implement everything down to the molecules hasn't been invented yet, and if it was attempted nowadays, it would probably fry a developer's computer. Before ending the video, I want to thank my friend Omar for being my cameraman in the Minecraft and Among Us clips. Really appreciate his help in screen recording these clips for me, because I wouldn't have been able to do so myself. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I was able to clarify some of the physics in video games. Thank you for watching.